Hey, hey. So glad you guys are here with me today. I see we've got lots of people already in the house. Fantastic. We've got Taneka Watt from Jacksonville, Florida. She does K-5 reading and math. You guys, I'm so glad that you are here today because today we are going to be talking about goal setting. Because a lot of times, a lot of us, we've had this experience in life. We've set goals and we haven't reached them, right? And it makes us feel like a failure. And so a lot of us begin to associate setting goals with being a failure, and we stop setting goals. So today we're going to be sharing with you how to set goals effectively by taking a look at the magic of thinking big, and we're on chapter 12 this week. Now next week is our last week for being able to talk about this book, and we'll be moving on to a new book after that, and I'll be sharing that with you next week. So you'll have to come in and tune in with us then. We also have here, we have Joanne. I think we have another Joanne who's in the house as well. And we've got Beth in the house, and we've got Lynn Wilson. So glad that you guys are here and that you guys are joining us. So let's dive right on in. So chapter 12 is called Use Goals to Help You Grow. And he makes some really important points about goal setting. He says a goal is an objective. It's a purpose. A goal is more than a dream. It's a dream being acted upon. A goal is more than a hazy, oh, I wish I could. A goal is clear, and that is what I'm working toward. Without goals, individuals just wander through life. They stumble along, never knowing where they're going, so they don't really get anywhere. Goals are essential to success as air is to life. No one ever stumbles into success without a goal. No one ever lives without air. So get a clear fix on where you want to go. And I think this is really important, you guys, because when we don't know where we're going, we can't come up with a plan to get there, right? So let's say I want to go on a vacation, but I don't know where I want to go. So I'm just going to get in the car and drive. Well, you might have an exciting road trip. I don't know. You may or may not, right? A lot of people, when they go on vacation, they want to think about, okay, where am I going to go? How am I going to get there? How am I going to pay for it, right? Like we've got like these different objectives when we set the goal that I'm going to go on vacation. Very few people set a vacation and say, okay, I'm going to go on a vacation, but I don't care where I go, how long I stay, or how much I pay. It doesn't work that right. You may or may not have a good time. I have no idea. But if your goal is to have a good time, you want to be a little bit more prepared in order to do that. So again, I'm going to welcome, we've got Raja in the house. She teaches Arabic online, and we've got Mavis, who is from Ethiopia, and she teaches chemistry. So fantastic. So glad that you guys can join us today. We're talking all about goal setting. And he says the important thing is not where you were or where you are, but where you want to get. So how many times have people done this? They think about, but here I am. So it's not possible for me to do that. Or other people can have success because they can blank. But that's coming up with all the reasons why you can't reach your goal, not actually coming up with a plan to reach your goal. And so I really want to help you guys with being able to set some really great goals. And the first thing that you have to do, you have to go back to that childlike mind where you can dream and you can think big. And I remember I used to play this little game with my school friends, and do you remember the little, they were the cootie catchers, and you flip them and be like, what kind of car do you want? And you had to choose. Do you want a limousine or a Ferrari, or it was always or do you want this beat up car, right? And so everybody always chose limousine. I want a limousine. Nobody was give me the beat up car. Yep, I just need a car that's just going to get me around and get me from point A to point B. No kid ever said that when we played that game. Okay? When it came to, what kind of house do you want to live in? It said, do you want to live in a mansion? Do you want to live in a shack? Do you want to live in, have a house on the ocean? Nobody ever said, I want to live in the shack. It was always, I want to live in a mansion or a house on the beach. Okay? The audio is different. I almost feel like we're hearing your chair creak. Okay, great. So let me not move at all, and hopefully my chair doesn't creak, and that can be a little bit better. Yeah, I'm having some issues with my sound. My particular speaker that I'm using is not playing the way that I want it to. So let me double check on here, advanced audio. Let's go here and just see if is there anything that I can just quickly change for you guys to make it better. I'm going to do right now just
my desktop microphone and see if that works better than my other one, and hopefully that sounds better. So let me know, Lynn, if that helps for the if that helps as we go along. All right, save. There we go. Hopefully that helps. So I want you to get into that dream mindset, okay, you guys? He says, first, visualize your future in terms of 3 departments. So a lot of times when we're thinking about goal setting for our business, we just think about like our business goals, right? But I do hear something. Okay, so something's definitely going on. Let's see if it gets better. Sorry, you guys. Now it's good. Okay, hopefully it stays good. Cross our fingers. He says, divide your life up in these 3 ways. Perfect. Okay. He says, dividing your life up this way keeps you from becoming confused, prevents conflicts, helps you look at the whole picture. It also demands of yourself a clear, precise answers to these questions. So I have some questions, and I'd love if you just like have a piece of paper by you and you're just able to write down the answers to these questions as quick as you can. Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I ask the question? All right, so I'm going to give you guys like 10 seconds to go grab a piece of paper or get the Word document on your computer up and going so you could just type. All right. So the first thing is to use this planning guide to be able to help you. It's an image of me 10 years from now, and this is your 10-year planning guide. So we're going to start with the work department. So 10 years from now, number 1, here's the first question. What income level do you want to attain? So put a dollar amount. How much do you want to be able to make each year? Do you want to be able to make $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $1 million a year? Put it down. We're not judging here. We're just coming up with a plan, okay? What level of a responsibility do I seek? Do you want to own your own tutoring business? Do you want to work for another company? Do you want to go back into the teaching world? Do you want to create courses and sell them to people? What do you want? Do you want to be a social influencer? Do you think in those kinds of levels? How much authority do you want to command? What prestige do I expect to gain from my work? So how do you want to be recognized? I thought it was kind of cool. I went to Six Flags with my kids one day, and I had this guy approach me, and he said, are you Joanne Kaminsky? And I was like, yeah. I had no idea who the guy was, right? He's like, I've been watching your YouTube channel, and I just want to say thank you for the work that you do with being able to help tutors and all of that stuff. And, we got into a conversation about what he tutors and all of that. But my kids were just like floored. They're like, that guy actually watches your YouTube channel? I was like, yeah, pretty cool, hey? They're like, you're like famous. And at that point I had like 1,000 subscribers. So I was like, yeah, with like 1,000 people. And they were like, still, Mom, that's so cool. So like, that's what we're kind of talking about. Like, what kind of recognition? Do you want people to be able to recognize you? Or do you want to kind of like just, go under the radar? Do you want people to be excited when they meet you? Do you want people to feel like they know you and so they want to hire you right away? Do you really want to make a huge impact on your students' lives? definitely like work it out. Like, what is it that you want? And how do you want to show up? Do you want to be a public speaker? Do you want to do virtual trainings around the world? Next is to think about your home department 10 years from now. And Lynn Wilson says, I am famous. Yeah. Thank you, Lynn. I know I'm famous amongst 20,000 people, or 5,000. I'm not really sure. Like, I got 10,000 people on my list and my group, my Facebook group. I got another 5,000 on my YouTube channel. Some of them are the same people. But it is cool to be able to show up in this way for people. But next is to think about your home department 10 years from now. What do you want that to look like? Oh, you guys already know what I want mine to look like. What kind of standard of living do I want to provide for my family and myself? So I've already decided, you guys, that I want to be able to actually buy a house with like 4 bedrooms so that I can hold retreats at my house in Florida. And then also have a house that's big enough to be able to have my family come and visit. So I've got 3 girls, and we're expecting they're probably going to get married and have children, and we want to have a place where they can come and visit in the winter and hang with us. And I'm going to be a snowbird, so half the year will be spent there and half the year will be spent here in Wisconsin. So I've really thought about the standard of living that I would like to have and what kind of house I want to have. What kind of vacations do I want to have? Oh my gosh, there's so many places around the world I would love to visit. I'd love to be able to visit like the pyramids in Egypt. I want to go to Australia. I've never been there. I definitely want to go to the UK. I've got some students out there. I'd love to be able to meet them. It's been, I've been working with them for 8 years. I think that would be a incredible experience. I want to go to Dubai. I think that would be a really neat place to visit. So, think about what kinds of vacations do you want to be able to have? Where are the places that you want to go? And then 4th, what financial support do I want to give my children in their early adult years? I think this is a really great thing. Do I want to be able to provide them, a down payment on their first house so that they don't have to live in an apartment and then, they can keep up with their monthly payments? I think even with their college and stuff, right? Do I want to be able to pay for their college? Do I want them to pay for part of the college? All of those kinds of things you want to begin to think about. And the last area is the social department. 10 years from now, what kind of friends do you want to have? So do you want to have friends that are going to be building you up or putting you down? Do you want to have friends that are going to, do you want to have friends that are at the same income level as you? Or do you want to have friends that are at a lower income level than you want to be at? That's something to think about, because they do say that your 5 best friends equals what your income is. So if you always surround yourself with people that are at a lower income value, you may have a hard time being able to jump into higher income brackets. What social groups do you want to join? Do you have any specific groups that you feel really confident in and maybe you'd like to lead or you just like to partake in? What community leadership positions would you like to hold? And what worthwhile causes do you want to champion? I have somebody who's asked a question on here. I wanted to answer your other question. I apologize it's taken so long. The documents are editable. They will live on your account so that no matter what computer you're on, you will have access. The documents are mostly in Google Docs or Google Sheets format, so they're editable. I'm not sure the question that you're asking, Joanne, so I would love to be able to answer the question. What are you specifically having some trouble with? So one of the reasons why, we have a question here about the 50% off on the okay. You know what I will do? I am going to end up responding to you, Joanne, after this particular call, because I think we'll have a better conversation and it will make more sense, and I'll be able to understand what it is that you're trying to do and what you want to be able to do. All right, so let's come on over to what. So now that we've answered those questions, we want to know that, like, we have these desires, right? We're like, okay, I know that this is what I want. And all of us dream what we really want to do, but very few of us actually surrender to this very, very important thing. And that's desire. So we allow our desires to get in the way of us being able to actually reach our goals. And he says there are 5 weapons are used to commit success suicide. And we want to destroy them because they're dangerous. The first one is self-deprecation. He says, you've heard dozens of people say, I would like to be a doctor or an executive or a commercial artist or in business for myself, but I can't do it. I lack brains. I'd fail if I tried. I lack the education and or experience. Many young folks destroy desire with the old negative self-deprecation. So if we have these negative thoughts about what is possible for us, you are going to struggle with being able to hit the goals that you want to be able to hit. The other one is security-itis. All right, and I hear this a lot from teachers, right? They want to be able to tutor online, but they don't want to give up their teaching business because their teaching career, because they feel like their teaching career is actually more lucrative than being an online tutor. Not realizing that they can make more money as an online tutor than they can in their teaching career. And so they hold on to things like, I've got security where I'm at, right? Like I've got my 401k, I've got this, I've got that, I've got insurance, like these things I need for my family, and therefore I can't become an online tutor because. And these kinds of security-itis things are going to kill you as an online tutor. And you're going to struggle with being able to step away from a teaching career that you're not enjoying to a tutoring career that you're going to love. And so, yes, you have what seems like more security now, but I have more security than I ever had, before in my entire lifetime. And this year, I am projected to make over $200,000. Is it more lucrative for me to keep my $50,000 a year teaching job because I have 401k and I have insurance, or is it more lucrative for me to have a $200,000 a year job, possibly going into $300,000, $400,000, right? There are more opportunities available once you can step away from the teaching job than are available to you in your teaching job, because your teaching job is extremely draining and it's a lot of work. Next is competition. So a lot of people will say, oh, this field's already overcrowded. And I hear that now. They're like, oh, because of COVID-19, this is extremely overcrowded industry. Everybody's trying to tutor online. Everybody and their mother is trying to tutor online and be able to make money. But not everybody is you. And if you keep going to where the competition is, yes, you will always struggle. But if you stay with us long enough, you're going to learn how to separate yourself from the crowd. So this week, I am going to be starting a new program, and my insiders, you guys already have access to it. It is called Social Media Superstar. We're going to be walking you through how can you become a social media superstar. And one of the things is, like, Facebook has just changed dramatically over the last 2 weeks. So we're going to be really hitting Facebook hard, and how can you stand out now on Facebook compared to what you've always done in the past. And we're going to take a look at Instagram. We're going to take a look at YouTube. How can you become that social media superstar? So if you want to learn more about that and you're not in the Insider Secrets Club, personally message me and I will get in contact with you and I will give you more details. The next is parental dictation. So, a lot of younger people, they explain their career choice and they'd say, oh, what I'd really like to prepare for is something else, but my parents want me to do this and I must. Most parents, I believe he says, do not intentionally dictate to the children what they must do. What all intelligent parents want is to see their children live successfully. If the young person will patiently explain why he or she prefers a different career, and if the parent will listen, there will be no friction. The objectives of both the parent and the young person for the young person's career are identical. Success. That is all that they want. Another thing is, I'll hear people say, oh, but I spent all this time in going to school to become a teacher, so I can't become a tutor. So in their mind, they are almost like, they're like lessening the status of what a tutor is. And I did that too. Like, I remember it was my second year teaching, and another teacher that I taught with in our first year, it was her first year, it was my first year. She ended up going to become a tutor. She had a baby, became a tutor. And I just remember thinking inside of my head, like, oh, I can't believe that she went to school for that long and now she's just a tutor. And so I had that thought process too. And now I'm a tutor, and I'm like, oh, wow. Like, tutoring is way more lucrative than like teaching inside of the school system. And it's way more enjoyable. Like, I actually, like, the results I'm able to get with kids, like, one-on-one is, like, incredible, par none compared to what I was able to get with a group of children from year to year, right? Because you're dealing with so many behavior issues, and you're dealing with all of the new programs that you have to learn, and your professional development, and, you know, creating homework and lesson plans and all these things that just take like tons and tons of time. It's just crazy. And the last thing he says is family responsibility. The attitude of, it would have been wise for me to change over 5 years ago, but now I've got a family and I can't change. I hear this with teachers sometimes saying things like, or tutors sometimes thinking like, I'm the only one supporting our family right now. My husband's retired, or, you know, I'm the only income that's coming on in, or I'm a single mom. And so, you know, I have the responsibility to my kids that I continue doing this. And, you know, again, it just kind of comes down to, yes, you do have those things. And so why not build up your business then in the meantime, so that you can, once your income is matched, you begin to make the switch. You quit the teaching job, and now you've got a career that's going to last you with your tutoring business, right? Like, you can begin starting it and growing it. And then once you have enough testimonials through and all that kind of stuff, and you got enough clients, you can then say, okay, then I'm going to quit when I get to reach this income point, so that I can continue to meet the family needs that we specifically have for our family. All right. So he says that we need to constantly have habits that are going to help us reach our goals. So if I have a bunch of bad habits, it's going to be really hard for me to reach the goals. I have to take some of those bad habits and I got to hit them, head on. So the first thing I have to do is I need to break my habits. So between now and blank, I will. So you're going to set like a 30-day improvement guide. This is on page 268 of The Magic of Thinking Big. So to break these habits, number one, he says, putting off things, negative language, watching TV more than 60 minutes per day, and gossip, talking about other people. These, if you can head on attack those 4 different bad habits that people have, it'll make a huge impact on your life. Acquire these habits. A rigid morning examination of your appearance. What do you look like? I know we could teach in our pajamas if we wanted to, but do we? Do you want to have a professional look when you come on? Sometimes I'm in my exercise clothes, but that's okay. Plan each day's work the night before. I use the 90X goal planner to be able to do that. So I plan out, okay, what does my day look like? Which students do I have? What things do I need to get done so that I can reach my goals? And then compliment people at every possible opportunity. The more nice things that you say about people, the better they're going to feel about themselves. And isn't that a good thing? And the better they feel about themselves, the better they feel about you, which is pretty cool too. Now, the next thing he says is increase my value to my employer in these ways. So lots of people have jobs, right? If you're in a teaching job right now or a different job that you don't want to be in, he says, do a better job of developing my subordinates. Those are people that are underneath you. Learn more about my company, what it does, and the customers it serves. Make 3 specific suggestions to help my company become more efficient. A lot of people, when they're trying to like exit out of a job, they don't think about adding more value as an employee of their job. They think of all the reasons of why they need to get out, what they need to do instead, and they complain about the terrible circumstances that they're in. That's what normal people do. But he's saying, like, look, like you need to like switch the situation and instead be of value where you're currently at. D, he says, increase your value in your home in these ways. Show more appreciation for the little things that your spouse does and that you've been taking for granted. Once each week, do something special with your whole family. Give 1 hour each day of your undivided attention to your family. So that doesn't mean like watching TV or playing on your phone or doing all of those kinds of things, right? It's just give them all of your attention. And he says to sharpen your mind in these ways. Number 1, invest 2 hours each week in reading professional magazines in your field. So you could be reading and learning about different things about running your online tutoring business. It could be that you are reading how to become a better teacher in the area that you want to tutor. He says to read 1 self-help book, make 4 new friends, and spend 30 minutes daily in quiet with undisturbed thinking. So kind of like a meditative process where you're just kind of like relaxing that mind and you're not disturbed by anybody. And I know some of you guys with kids are like, okay, that is not possible. But you can find a way. You can find a way. It might be that you have to wake up earlier in the morning to do it before the kids wake up. Or it might be that you have to do it at the end of the day when the kids go to bed. He says the biggest and most rewarding kind of investment is self-investment. Purchasing things that build mental power and proficiency. He says that we all should be investing in education and invest in idea starters. He says, resolve to purchase at least 1 stimulating book each month and subscribe to 2 magazines or journals that stress ideas. For me, I get my books on Audible, and I'm constantly listening to a book on Audible, and Audible now has a new tool that makes it even easier to be able to get more for your value. So it's not just the 1 book anymore. They also have other books that you get to download each month. He says that we need to take these actions. Number 1, get a clear fix on where you want to go. Create an image of yourself 10 years from now. Number 2, write out your 10-year plan. He says your life is too important to be left to chance. Put down on paper what you want to accomplish in your work, your home, and your social departments. Number 3, surrender yourself to your desires. Set goals to get more energy. Set goals to get things done. Set goals and discover the real enjoyment of living. Number 4, let your major goal be your automatic pilot. When you let your goal absorb you, you'll find yourself making the right decisions to reach your goal. Number 5, achieve your goal 1 step at a time. Number 6, build 30-day goals. Day by day, your efforts are going to pay off, right? It's that compound effect. And number 7, take detours in stride. And number 8, invest in yourself. Purchase those things that build mental power and efficiency. Invest in education and invest in idea starters. Next week, we're going to be talking about how to think like a leader. So as you're a business owner, you have to think like a leader. And we're going to be diving into that next week. So definitely come join us on Thursday as we talk about, falling in love with teaching again. We're going to be chatting with some teachers, some tutors that were teachers and, they kind of fell out of their passion of working in the school system and find out how they fell back in love with teaching. You guys enjoy the rest of your day and I will see all of you soon. Bye, everyone.